Alright guys, welcome back. This is Ryan from the Thin Blue Line Outdoors, your beloved red coat today. I'm prepping for next week. Next week gonna be farm week, and today we're gonna be setting up the big game 18 foot 6 inches Hunter HD. This is the 1.5 version. So it's gonna give us a little bit of extra comfort and a little bit of extra space while we're up in the tree stand. Got this from Bass Pro. I think the retail was probably like $140 or something. So we're going to be setting this up today with some help from my pooch. Basically we're going to go through it, going to get it ready so it's set up, ready to put in the Jeep, and then head to the farm next week where we will scout a new location, put it up, and hopefully get a food plot down in front of it. So we'll get cracking on this one, and then we'll see if we get any snags along the way, if we can work together and share some info, what worked, what didn't work. I'll keep you updated, so follow me. Okay, the unboxing's done. So I know a lot of you are probably like me and really dislike using the instructions for a lot of things in life. We just like to crack on and get on with it. But I think the best tip that I've got, honestly, and I don't think you can go wrong this way, is get your tree stand, unbox it, and lay it all out, right? When we lay it out like this, it's giving us an exact view of everything that we've got, okay? So when it comes to matching it up with the instructions or piecing it together, you know where everything is. Like if you notice, I've paired off a lot of things that go together. They're the same, bars are the same, these two are the same, these two are the same. What they're just going to do is when you pair them up, they're just going to be opposites when you put them together. So that's it. I've unloaded it. That's the tree stand. The ladders I put to the side. We don't need them. The only time when I really need them is when I get to the farm. Then I can put the ladders together. It makes it easier to travel with. So everything's out now. Now the fun begins, okay? Now we're gonna start going through our instruction manual and just see how well it really was put together. So I've got all my nuts, bolts, everything else needs. I'm in my garage, so I've got all the tools that I need, and we're gonna make a start. We're gonna crack on and we're gonna go through these instructions. If I do hit any snags though, what I will do is I will stop the time-lapse video and sort of walk you through, talk about it, what snags I've reached, because I've hit a snag with one of these stands before, and that was putting the actual seat on, stretching the fabric. So if I get to that point, I will stop, share some thoughts, and we'll get through this together. So this is the big game Hunter HD 1.5, available at Bass Pro. We'll see how it goes. Alright guys, so we have been working for about 20-25 minutes, and I'm exactly halfway through right now. So as you can see, we have got our platform, our footrest, half the ladder section already set up with the stabilizers in place, and we're about halfway through. So next will be the rear frame support, the part that actually goes onto the tree, with the seat support, seat assembly, armrest assembly, shooting rail, and then putting all that together, and that'll fit nicely on the top of that. Instructions have been pretty decent so far, very well. I'm not the most technical guy, but very easy to understand even for a beginner. I do want to say one bit of advice is just make sure you're reading the instructions, and I always measure the screws that the directions are telling me to use up against the ones in the manual, because I've been there before when I haven't looked or I haven't checked and I've ended up bolting parts together only to realise towards the end I used the wrong bolt, so I had to unbolt it, to rebolt it, to use the bolt for something else. So make sure you read through it. Another thing is, like for beginners, if you've never set up a tree stand, try your best to do what I'm doing right now, because setting it up in a controlled environment where you've got plenty of space, you've got tools, what you need handy, and any other bits of equipment that you might need to set it up is such a blessing. I can't even tell you the amount of times when I've took the box into the field and set up the tree stands where I'm gonna put the tree stands up. And I ran into so many problems. You know, you're battling with the environment, the wind, the rain that could come, the heat, you know, you're dropping screws, nuts and bolts in a field, you know, good luck finds and that stuff. You know, I've been there and done it before. So if you can set up your tree stand before you transport it to the field, as I say, I'm only gonna set up half of it. The other half of the ladder is easy. I can do that when I get to the farm. This will fit in the bed of my truck just as is, and it's so much better. So if you can, set up everything before you take it to the field and thank me later. Second biggest bit of advice, as I say, read the instructions, make sure you're using the right nuts and bolts for the right part, or otherwise you're gonna be backtracking. So, okay, halfway through, I'm gonna continue and we're gonna get this son bitch popping. So that was a perfect example of what leads me into tip number 3. So, what I did was I put these two side supports on the wrong way. So I've just had to take out 4 screws after I double checked the assembly instructions. What I thought was correct, by the time I went to fit on the backrest, it wasn't right, something wasn't right. So I went back and I had to look and realised that what I did is I put them on the wrong way. So tip number 3, never tighten your bolts all the way when assembling a tree stand, okay? Even though we're following the manual, mistakes are gonna be made, okay? I don't think I've ever set up a tree stand where I've had to take nuts and bolts off and readjust. So I'd say get your nuts and bolts in, you know, put them on so you can see where you are. And then before you take it out into the fields, once you're happy with the final setup, then go round every single bolt and make sure they're tight as you can get them using, you know, hand tightening them. Never fully tighten them until you've completely set up and you know that it's in the right place. Let's get back to it. Okay, so final product. Hard to see, but your shooting rail, stoppers, nice big comfy seat. Got yourself a foot bar. Come up and down. Nice big platform. The seat can go up as well. So if you're bow hunting, put the seat up. And I've got half the ladders on now in effect. So that was it. So, with all that being said, it probably took me a little bit longer than I anticipated. It probably took me 90 minutes to do it. I was on my own and I had 2 big mess ups in the way in which I put the poles on. So, again, good job, like I didn't over tighten the bolts because I had to take them out, rearrange the metal poles and get back at it. But I had two fairly big mistakes where I didn't read the instructions right. I had the support beams at the very back instead of halfway through, and I put the seat rest bars on the wrong way, around, so it ended up being too high for what I needed. But once I figured it out, I switched out these 2 bolts and then attach them to the middle of the footrest instead of at the back, and then I fixed the seat rest bar. I just had to turn them around, so that did put a little bit of extra time on once I was able to figure it out. So all in all, on my own, 90 minutes with the tools, but I think it was fairly decent setup. I mean, I've had a lot worse, a lot harder tree stands before. One thing that I really appreciated about this was the setup of the seat. The seat looks really comfy. It is a 1.5 Hunter HD big game tree stand, so it gives you that little bit of extra room when you're up there, a little bit more comfort. Now I basically run mostly muddy tree stands, and we've got the double XLs and we've got the XLs and we've got 1.5 muddies too out on the farm. And one thing I found about that was the seat was just so difficult especially on the 2.5 muddy, the double stand, the big double stand. The seat was so hard to put together on that one. But here I had all my tools, so any misfortunes that I did come across, I was able to overcome it pretty quick. So this is going to be a new stand. Inches away from passing out that day. But I said to the farmer, I said, man, I'm grateful for this fucking little cool breeze that we've got.
Oh yeah. Oh, it could be way worse. Last week would have been way worse. All right, guys, July 8th, 2024. We're out here in Mercer County, here in Illinois, hunting one of Redcoat's favorite places to be. We know we haven't been out here. Well, you were out here for a spring turkey hunt.
Yep.
So you guys can see that hunt on the channel. He didn't get no turkey, but
no. Had action.
He did have action, so definitely check that out, guys. But you know, like I said, it's July. You know, we've been working on our farms, you know, throughout the year. We love doing this. I get it, it's hot. You can see me wearing a cutoff and stuff, but we're still out here trying to get our goals accomplished, getting ready for deer season. We just can't get enough of it. You guys should definitely be out on your plots too. But today's goals: hang a new tree stand for Ryan. And also, he's going to be dabbling in food plots for the first time.
Yeah, and I said last year that one of my biggest goals was to learn what Cody's been doing for a while now, is establishing his own food plots. I'd love to learn it. I did get permission off the landowner. My wife was able to find really cheap seeds in it's like a resale shop. I guess it didn't sell or something like that, but it's clover.
Yep.
So this year I'm going to give a good try at establishing a clover plot, and it looks like we've got a brilliant spot for it. Cody's just found a brilliant tree. We're close, you know, to all the action which we see every year. And I was saying before, you know, whether you hunt public or private, spending a few years on the land, you really get to know the patterns, and like every year it's like clockwork. It's this corner that the deer either work into or come out of. Now we have got a stand, and you've seen us kill stuff out of it. It's what we known as Ash's tree stand, and it's just up the way here. Problem with that is you're about 120, 140 yards off the corner, so it's a poke shot, and we always talk about we want to make sure that we can get an effective kill. So this brings us a little bit closer, and I think it's a great tree what you found there. Acorns, loads of cover, right in the heart of the action. And I think with a food plot or kill plot, which I learned today, I didn't know, but it's a great thing. It's not necessarily a place where they'll come to eat, but it's a place where as they pass through, which they do, this is a passing point, it'll give them something to stop and eat. So I learned that today. Technically maybe not a food plot, but a kill plot, and that is perfect.
Yep, last couple things. So essentially we're in a valley right now, and we got grain on both sides down the valley. We got water source with the creek. They feed right here to go to their bedding, and obviously this is a good afternoon or morning spot because you're going to catch them either coming back to bed or leaving bed to go out to food. So we'll have some green for them. I think we're going to use a RackGetter's rope here later on. So Ryan will have kind of the two-prong attack, where either they come bite the clover or you maybe get a buck to come hit the rack rope. Plus, again, there's acorns and hickory nuts falling right there too, so if they come and eat that, that's going to be awesome as well. Last thing, clover, guys. I've been doing food plot for a few years. I'm not an expert, not even going to act like I am, but clover is super easy. I recommend everybody to at least have a clover plot, especially if you're new to the food plot game, because seeds are fairly cheap and it's really easy to maintain, control, and clover wants to grow. You know, it's not like you got to will it to grow, it wants to grow. So it's just really easy to do, and I would highly recommend if you're going to do a food plot, try clover first. Well, let's get to work.
Okay, let's go. All right, it's another one up. Very, very happy. It just gets us that little bit closer to the action. I think the one thing though is it could make this nice stand sort of inactive. But there's always room next year to play with it. So one stand up as always, mate, thanks to Boom, the man with the biggest balls on this land, getting up these trees. Done it a time or two. The last little thing, they've got these tension straps, and you know, I know they're probably used for the base around the tree and all that, but you just can't beat ratchet straps, so we just put an extra ratchet strap on. I think that's the worst thing. The stand only comes with two. We put a third one on. Boom's always done a third one, you know, so we've just put a third one.
and we're actually going to recycle these tension straps. So for your bag, for your bow, to hold gear up, it is only like a 1.5 man stand. So big, it's comfy. Hope you watch the video. Hope the video helps you with the setup. I think the total weight was 72 pounds or something. It's definitely a one-man job, super easy with two. The comfort is extraordinary. So I think the last thing I've got to do now is put my bow hanger up, and then when I come back next month, a couple more branches with the handsaw, and we've just opened up. We've just got in the game. We have just got in the game. Hopefully it pays off this fall.
Alright, you can see Ryan behind me here. This is only going to be like a 1/4 acre kill plot. Okay, he's going to put clover down. So, this one, the main thing I want to show here is you guys don't need big tractors or anything like that. Obviously it's nice and it's a lot easier if you do have a big tractor or something, or a mower. Come here and mow this all down. But we don't have that here. So, it's going to be a little bit of experiment. But what he's using is the Imperial Whitetail clover seeds. So, I've used these guys before. I've had a good luck with them. So, hopefully this works out well for Ryan. I think it will. We'll let him keep going back to work, and then I gotta do the easy part and spray out the full there.